guys, Merry Meet. It's so nice of you to join me. My name is Glennis and I'm the Witch of Whitetail Hollow. If you're new here, gosh, please subscribe and join me. And if you're returning, well, welcome again. It's so nice to have you here with me. As you can see, gosh, I've got a lot of stuff happening here. I'm actually going to be really super busy over the next couple of days or so, and I kind of wanted to get some of this kind of caught up and a few things made. I've totally sold out of all of my protection balls on eBay, so I'm going to be working on those today. But I thought while I was working, and I've got my prosperity candle happening for a special person, special family, and I've got my Mercury retrograde candle going as well because, well, it's been a challenge. Let's just say it's been a challenge. And I have a love spell happening here, and they know who they are too. And I've got 2 road openers, and I've also got a candle here that's, wow, it's burning pretty good, and it's a candle of protection. And again, they know who they are. So, but what I'd like to, before I get started making a protection ball, and I've actually got several different sizes. I've got one here that's already made and has been charged, and more than likely, and several odd reasons, but more than likely I'm going to put it in my car and carry that in my car. But yeah, I've got this big one, and I started gathering all my materials up this morning thinking, okay, how do I want to approach this? How do I want to go about this? And thinking about this particular person. And you know how it is where someone says your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Well, my eyes got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm thinking, oh, I need to do this and that. And it just kind of grew from there. So thank you for your indulgence. But yeah, so I've got this really big one happening, and I've got, you know, a couple of smaller ones I probably will do as well. But before I get started, I wanted to have just a really brief chat. There's several newbie witches that are just starting their path, that are watching on YouTube and watching me do things and other people do things. And I know that the majority of you already know what the subject that I'm going to approach, and that is protecting yourself. And the reality is that if I came on to YouTube and went into ritual from beginning to end, that would be a very lengthy video. And a lot of it you probably would be so boring, you'd be bored to death with it. And until I can get my editing down or figure it out to begin with, then it more than likely is not going to happen. But just bear in mind, those of you who are just starting on your path, or, you know, have gone, what's gone wrong with this spell, or why has this happened or that happened, there is a lot that goes into doing what we do before we even get to YouTube. I mean, there are some things that I've done, and I protect myself. I always, first and foremost, protect myself before I start and when I finish. So with that in mind, you know, just, you kind of have to go with it. But just a little word out there, and everything that you see on YouTube is not exactly, you know, what you think that it is. There's so much more to it than that. It's just, you know, it's kind of like these home improvement shows. They show you in a half an hour or an hour's time, you know, either a whole room or a whole house being remodeled. Well, you and I both know that's not reality. So, but anyway, I've got all of this happening. Like I said, I've got a few things happening over the next long weekend and over the next few days, so I just thought I'd go ahead and get this done and get these charged on my altar and ready. But yeah, you just basically, you know, start out. This is glass. I do like to use glass. In a way, I'm kind of a purist that way, and I try to always use glass. But again, you can use sage or a smudge stick and just give it a good go. And again, everything that I have here on my table here has already been smudged. And again, that's some of that stuff that you just simply don't see. But yeah, witches, I mean, back in the 17th and 18th century would hang these, you know, in windows and doorways or above doorways. And I do, and I know that they work. And so how I'm going to work with this, I'm going to work in numbers of 5. And 5 to me means prosperity, and it means man or humankind, health, and love. And so with that being said, the first thing that I like to add is, and of course this shouldn't be any surprise to anyone who's made it before, is moss. And this is very special moss that someone sent me from a place where I used to live. A lot of hoodoo and voodoo and things like that where I was born and raised. So definitely moss, and that's again to the spirits that comes through will become entangled in here. And I use 2 different kinds of moss. Nice sheet moss. And I'll just tear it a little bit. And also what I like to use, and again, I'm working in numbers of 5. I bought some ribbon and I curled it a bit. And again, this is just to tangle up any spirit or anything bad that's going to come your way. I've also got some black yarn. And I like to put that in first to be able to catch my herbs that I'll go through. I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible for you. I don't want to bore you guys. But again, this is all in 5s. And what I've done here is I've written a little petition paper for this one particular person. It's right here. It's been anointed for their protection. And I've set my intentions. I set my intentions with it. And I work with it. And I hold this and them near and dear to my heart and hope that they will be well, safe, and happy. And that goes right in. And I will blow my intentions in because I do use my breath. And I may use a word or 2. And the herbs of protection that I'm going to use are sage, rosemary, cinnamon, and bay leaves. And again, I think that's where I got involved in using this bigger ball. Is I started working in multiples of 5, and I figured, well, why not, you know? But I've got my sage and my cinnamon. I broke my cinnamon up into 5. And you can also write on your bay leaves if you want to, any special message that you like. And I think for the rest of this, I'm going to go like that. There you go, just like that. So those are for protection. And I'm going to add a little bit of love, or maybe a lot of love, I mean, because, right? So this is lavender, rose petals, chamomile, and hibiscus. And the reason, And you might go, chamomile, why is she adding chamomile? Because, you know, to keep, for me, after I do baneful work, I have to sit a couple of days because I'm tired. I'm physically and mentally and spiritually very, very tired, and really just, you know, kind of feeling depleted. So I'll have my chamomile tea and, you know, just kind of sit back for a couple of days and recharge, and that's why I'm adding chamomile here. And I'm hoping, I think what I'm going to do is add the hibiscus. Hibiscus is so, so good. It brings beauty into your life and love, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And probably, and I have it actually in my cabinet, but probably if I had some bigger rose buds that are dried, I probably would have added those. But you can see how it's kind of shaping up. And again, everything that I have here has been cleansed and consecrated, and, you know, more love. I like to add a little bit of frankincense for protection. And I like to add hematite. I'll add a few chips of hematite. I like to add, these are some feathers. Not only does it kind of break it up, the interest in here, but to me, when I think of feathers, I think of being, you know, encased and enclosed and safe and protected, and like there's a shield, sort of like a shield on me. So I like to add feathers. Oh, there's a black one. Oh, how nice. And I've been working with my licorice stick, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure all of you already know this, but licorice is a dominating factor. It's, you know, this is exactly how it's going to be. It's a dominant root. But what I've got here is Hijon, which is, and what I can do is actually set this here. That's why I brought this out here. But I made a note here, Hijon and protects during the day, and I believe mugwort protects you in the evening. Yes, no, it's not Hijon, it's St. John's wort. Protects you during the day, and mugwort protects you in the evening. So you've got that, and I did add Hijon root in here, just because I can. And I've got licorice root in here, and again, that's just to kind of add to this. I added licorice root, Valeria, and mullein, and I think that's it. But let's get this added. I used one that was too small. And again, I'll sit with it, and I'll think of my family or their family and see how this is shaping up. And what I like to do, and I'm sure some of you do, now you can add, if you have like raffia, you can cut this into small bits and add that to it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And I also have some salt that I've made here myself. And I've never given that recipe out, but I'll add just a little bit of it. You can also add, if you're so inclined, just to kind of brighten it up, a little bit of mica. And a lot of people go, you know, are like, no, 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 no glitter, no sprinkles. Well, I like a little bit just to, you know, attract the spirits, because, you know, they are probably pretty vain and they want to come and look at themselves, and it's going to catch them every time. This and this. And so, there you go. Just for my friends. And we'll close it off. Or try to. Oh. And I'll sit and I'll work with it. And think of everyone. And what you can, if you want to make like a smaller one, if you want to make a smaller one, if you want to do it for love, I mean, certainly you can add rose quartz or Jezebel root that I have here, of course. And again, your chamomile, your lavender, and, you know, of course you want to protect yourself as well, and with sage and things like that. You can do one for prosperity, and again, I have some aventurine chips here that I'll use as well, and some carnelian, and I guess that's about it. So I'm gonna, you know, kind of wrap this up, and what I'll do is, with my candle that I've got happening just for this particular person, I will seal this off, and I will tie it up. I'll put a little, I have a little charm that I will add to it. I don't know what I'm going to pick. It just depends on what mood strikes me. And I'll put them a little charm there, and I'll seal this with wax. And I'll get this sent, after I charge it, of course, on my altar for a while. I'll get this sent to them. But, yeah. So, I think it came out really, really well. Of course, if there's, you know, you might want to add maybe a few cedar chips to it, cedar sprigs. You know, really it's up to you and your imagination. And what you feel is the right thing to do. And I brought some citrine out. I probably will make a few of these with some citrine. And if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help in any way that I can. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. And with that, I will say merry part. And I so hope to merry meet again. Bye, guys.